everyone, and welcome to Lisa T Spills the Tea. These will be a series of podcasts talking about well-being and mental health. This is my first podcast today with actor Liam Collins, who is a really big advocate of mental health. He has produced a short film with Brooke Vincent called My Toughest Battle, which was created to raise awareness, so I'm really excited to have Liam with us on the podcast today. Hello, Liam.
Hello, pleasure to be here.
Good.
Very nice.
Thank you for joining.
Well, obviously people can't see, but thank you for the lovely Lisa tea mug. It's
You're
very
welcome.
nice.
Lisa tea mug, drinking coffee, not tea though.
Well, I'm a coffee drinker, as you know, Lisa. I'm not into the old tea.
No, Lisa tea spills the coffee doesn't quite have the same ring to it, does it? So,
No, and that's important. So,
so we'll stick
I
with
I actually am drinking tea. I'm not drinking coffee.
Well, it's great to have you here today. As you know, I'm very passionate about well-being and mental health, as I know you are as well. So I thought it'd be really good to get you on and just have a chat really about some of the things that you've found over the last few years, what have worked for you, maybe things that you are interested in learning more about in your life, or just any of your experiences really. So yeah, what would you say is something that's helped you a lot maybe?
Well, definitely when you talk about mental health and the pandemic, it's obviously something that's been very difficult for a lot of people, and I think as someone like myself who's always been passionate about mental health, but especially since the pandemic, I've even found out things about myself and things that I do now that I didn't really do before the pandemic. So I think in a way it's a blessing in disguise with some of the stuff I've picked up, and that might be exercising more, it might be reading a lot more, but in terms of mental health, we all have our own sort of remedies and our own sort of looking for tasks throughout the day that we do ourselves. You do your different things from me, and I think it's about finding what works for you, but then you've got your proven remedies like your exercise and stuff like that I think no matter who you are, no matter what. For example, if you're going for a walk or run, I don't care who you are, if you are, not feeling the best, or you're feeling, whether it's anxiety, whether it's, whatever you're dealing with, if you go for a walk or a little run, or even get the heart pumping, 10 minutes, 100% you feel better afterwards, and that's a fact. And if someone wanted to argue with me, they could, and I wouldn't believe it, because for me, I think that's really important.
Yeah. And you were also telling me something earlier about your morning routine, something that you've just been doing the last couple of weeks that you feel has really helped you. Would you like to share?
Well, I love to read. I always think I'm a bookworm. I'm not a book connoisseur, but I do enjoy my reading. And the one in particular called Miracle Morning, if people want to get it, it's a really good book. And I just started this routine where in the morning, and even though I'm a big advocate of meditation and stuff like that, I'm definitely not going to sit here and say it's something I'm religiously make sure I do every morning. It's something I do want to get better at, and I'm definitely guilty of waking up, going on my phone as soon as I wake up, especially if your alarm's on your phone. I press my alarm on my phone, and I'm straight away on Instagram, or I'm whatever I'm doing, and then I'm straight away I've not set the day off well for me. So I've started waking up, going straight to the bathroom, cleaning my teeth, then drinking water, having my vitamins that I have, going downstairs, meditating, and just stretching straight away every single morning. And for me, I can already see an improvement, and I think it just sets you off, just starts you out perfectly, no matter. And I wake up all the time with anxiety, or I wake up, thinking, this might not be, a good day. And as soon as I've done that, I've definitely got a better outlook and a better mindset of how the day is going to happen as supposed to before I did that. So it's working.
Great. And I think, like you say, it's different for everyone. People will find different things help them. I know for me, I have a morning routine. My routine's quite long actually. My routine's about an hour, sometimes an hour and a half. But like you say, after I've done that routine, I just feel so much more prepared for the day. I feel like not to get too deep, but I'm on a different frequency. I wake up, you're a bit sluggish. People that believe in like frequencies and the law of attraction, you could say that you're on sort of a low frequency until you lift yourself up and you do whatever it is for you that makes you feel good. then it really does kind of raise your vibration onto a higher frequency. So yeah, I think that's really important.
I agree, and I think it's as you say, it's about finding what works for you. And I wish, I think doing an hour is amazing, and if you've got the discipline to put that into your practice, that's great. I'm definitely not going to sit here and say I definitely am disciplined. I'm definitely not on that, because I can't do. I'm not doing it for an hour as you are. So that's great if you can. And yeah, like you say, it's just finding what works for you. And I think we've changed now anyway compared to where we were even 5 years ago, never mind 10 years. If you would have said to me 10 years ago that my ritual, and it's important to meditate, to stretch, to do yoga, whatever it is, drinking lots more water, cutting out, I would have just laughed in your face. So it's just, I think, and getting older brings that as well, but we live in a world now where it sort of is the trend to be healthy, which it is good.
Yeah, I think we're so lucky that we've got all of the knowledge at our fingertips, that we've got, all of the books out there, and the help that we've got and support. It's so easy to access information that can support us, and there's so much information out there. You can't do everything, and not everyone will have an hour in the morning to do a routine, but I think if you just find something, like a lot of people now are really getting to understand the benefits of cold exposure and cold showers. I know this is something I've probably spoken to you about before. There's a page on Instagram called Wim Hof, Iceman Hof, his Instagram handle is, and he's always promoting just how great it can make you feel to have a cold shower in the morning. It really does lift my mood, my energy, makes me feel more awake. So that's one of the things that I swear by now. I think it's so useful.
I couldn't agree more for you, and I also know who Wim Hof is, and what an interesting man. But the cold, absolutely. I mean, I go to sauna all the time, and if I go in the sauna, the first thing I do when I come out of the sauna is jump into the cold shower next to it, even if it's for 10 seconds. But it's great if you can do it. That's something I'm not the best at. I don't like cold.
It's getting used to it, isn't it? You have to breathe through it. You have to be. That's why if anyone looks at the Wim Hof method, there's kind of another pillar, which is the breathing that you're supposed to do first before you expose yourself to the cold, because you're preparing your body for that shock. But one of the things that I found really interesting about cold exposure is that, as well as it being great for us, it improves our immune system, our cardiovascular system. It's got so many physical health benefits. But as well as that, the mental health benefits are so powerful, especially for people that struggle with anxiety and panic attacks, because what you're basically doing every day is you're voluntarily exposing yourself to quite a stressful shock situation. And if you stand there and breathe through it, you're training your mind to deal with stress better. So in your daily life, when you get stressful situations that crop up, you're almost prepared for it, because every day you're putting yourself through that and breathing through it. So I found that so interesting when I was reading up on it. That's one of the reasons I started doing it, to help with like anxiety and stuff. And this was a couple of years ago. And I would honestly say it's really, really helped. So for me, that's a great thing.
No, and that's you're absolutely spot on. And I also think, you have to stress this enough that it's everyone's so different.
Yeah.
And what I find interesting is if you have got your anxiety, or you suffer with depression like myself, or whatever the case, I, for example, don't really, when I look at like the years and the seasons, I think my sort of anxiety and depression is better in the winter. Which is weird, because you would say, well, why not the summer when it's sunshine? But I think because when it is dark, cold nights, and I know that it's sort of weird, it comes to the mindset of when it's summer, you kind of think, if you're someone that likes to stay in, or you kind of want to be on your own for whatever, when it's the summer you feel like you're forced to go out, you have to go out, because
that makes sense.
Living over here, we don't get any sun anyway, so you're like, well, I want to go out, you feel like you're missing out on something, whereas the cold and the winter, people are indoors more. It's not frowned upon to just sit in and watch films or whatever. It depends what you are, but I definitely have always benefited from, I've always preferred the winter than I have the summer all the time. But then some people, it's like, some people prefer to be speaking to people, and they need to channel their energy to speak to so many people. Like, I would say I'm like that. My power is higher when I'm around people and I'm speaking to people and I'm making conversation, whereas when I'm just on my own, I don't tend to do well. Some people, when they have depression, they don't want to speak to anyone. For them, it helps if they're on their own. I've got a friend that is like that, and they don't want to be, they just want to have, maybe it's a couple of weeks, but they don't want to see anyone. I'm the opposite. I need to beg someone to see me because I don't want to. I want to have conversation.
Like you say, everyone's so different, and different things will help different people and sort of trigger different people as well. It's interesting that you say that about the winter, because I've heard a few people say that about the pandemic, you know, having to be inside, forced to be locked away. And for some people, obviously it didn't help mental health because of that, but for some people they said that it actually really supported them because they didn't feel that pressure to be on social media, to be showing what a great life they've got, because everyone was in the same boat. We were all just having to stay inside.
Well, what's amazing about that comment is, again, it correlates so well with being an actor and what you said then about the pressure. I can tell you right now that through the pandemic as an actor, and I know a lot of friends who are in that industry that said the same, is there was such a weight lifted off through the pandemic, even though you never was going to have an audition, you never, because the world stopped, but it was the same for everyone. So it was for the first time in history, whereas an actor, he was not competing, not that it is a competition, but he wasn't competing with everyone, you wasn't missing out on auditions, you wasn't missing out on the chance to be in this film or that TV, because it didn't exist. And there was no, and it was a kind of an surreal, nice feeling of, well, I'm actually not missing. And as soon as the audition started again, you get that anxiety again of, oh my God, I need to know the next job, and that's not the right attitude anyway, but it's amazing that a lot of people did say the same. You know, like it was the pandemic, there was no pressure, and it was kind of, it's amazing how people think.
So coming back to acting, obviously we've spoken a lot, and I'm a singer, and I was surprised in the industry how many other singers have opened up about their struggles with mental health. And I know obviously you've been very open about things that you've experienced. Have you found in the acting world that other people have similar experiences that you've come across?
I think acting is a very surreal craft in itself anyway. When we talk about mental health, the correlation is, if anything, it's probably the worst. If you're not careful and you don't have the right mindset, which I didn't at the start, I think maybe it's the same for other artists, but in acting, I think it's a terrible industry to be in if you suffer with mental health, just because you are vying for people's approval, you want to be liked, you're trying to get a job, you know, and that's the way it is. And if you can't, that's making you ill, and it's something that, you know, you shouldn't do it. And with acting, you've got the pro of, you've got so many emotions that you have to adapt with. You can take, you know, the pro of it is, for example, if I'm, you know, I could tell you many times where I've been maybe having a bad day, or I've been down, or there's something going on in my personal life, and as soon as I've got on a set or I'm on stage rehearsing, that is completely gone, because I'm so in the moment and channeling that character, or if I'm playing, you know, whoever, I'm not thinking about anything that's getting me down, and that is the beauty of acting. But the problem is, unless you're in that 1%, you know, I'm not yet, but you don't always have acting every single day. You've got to get your job first. So when you can't do something you love, as someone who maybe struggles with the mental health, it's a very bizarre pill to swallow, because it's, you know, I'm not comparing myself to Van Gogh in any way, let's make that clear, but it's the Van Gogh method of, he, you know, wanted people to adore what he did so much, and no one cared. He just went crazy and, you know, and went mad with mental health issues, but he just adored painting so much. So when you adore something so much and you can't do it, you know, you're a singer, there's no immediate gratification I can do in acting. I have to get the job. Of course I can do amateur stuff, I can do my own work, and I have, but ultimately it's about getting the job on stage, getting a job on TV, whatever, then you've got your chance. So it's hard. So it's a pro and a con with acting. It's definitely hard, but also extremely rewarding when you do get that high and you're in the moment.
Yeah, okay. And can you tell us a bit about the film that you created? It was a short film, wasn't it, called My Toughest Battle?
Yeah, and it's not to discredit the film in any way, so because it's been out like just over a year now, and the other 2 years. So I hate, because you know me, I'm not, believe it or not, I don't like to brag about accomplishments, and it's annoying because the film is sort of, I don't want to be one of these people in 10 years' time. If this was any other film, the beauty of this is, because it's about mental health, it's going to be something that I'm always going to be talking about, because it's not going to go out of fashion. If it was any other film, I wouldn't want to speak to you about it, because in my opinion, it's done now. I'm not going to be in 10 years bragging about something I did 20 years ago, me personally, but because it is about mental health, I think it'll always be an important film.
Definitely.
And the reason it came into, what's the word, tuition, is that a real word? Tuition?
It's a real word.
I don't know the word I'm looking for, but how it come about is, I always wanted to write something to, they say write about what you know when you're a writer, and I'm not a writer, but I thought, right, I'll just have a go, and wrote this story I remember it was in my bedroom at my mum's in about 20 minutes, because I just wrote about my experiences and what I knew, what I thought mental health was. And I just wanted to tell, a sort of 15, 20-minute story of what, just trying to explain what it feels like in a way. And I used the boxing side of it because I was a fan of the sport, and I'd done boxing. I wanted to sort of be a metaphor for a guy that's, got a fight coming up, but he's dealing with these mental health struggles, and I wanted it to also show what it's like from other person's point of view. So my fiance in it, obviously played by the amazing Brooke Vincent, but I wanted that character to have a sort of what audiences see what it's like to be the person that's going out with someone for mental health, because in the story, she might think, and it happens in real life, I know that this happens to people, they're very quiet, they don't want to talk about what they're going through, their other halves, wives, they might, husbands, whatever, they might think they're having an affair, they might think there's something, it's them, no one knows unless you're speaking to someone. So the whole message of it was to try and put that, it's always it's always okay to be not okay. And I wanted to try and, raise this message as much as I can. And when I made it, I didn't think it would have the response it did. I'm not really in it for awards, but I was happy with it, the way it transcended to America, and it did. My main thing for me that it was shown at the New York Mental Health Festival in New York, which they played it as their main sort of, which, that's the goal for me, that I care more about something like that. And when I've done Q&As and foreign, people coming up to me and saying that they watched the film and they then went to get help, or this, that's the biggest achievement for me. So it'll always be relevant, and I'd love to, I'm actually trying to turn this into a play at the moment. I'm trying to adapt it into a play, which would be exciting. But it's definitely something I'm glad I've done. I think I'll, no matter if I win an Oscar one day, I'll definitely look at this as my biggest accomplishment. And I've vainly got a picture of the poster with all its glory in my living room. So every time I'm eating, I get to look at my handsome self on the poster. So no, it was great experience.
Good, no, it's brilliant. And just to finish up, there was one thing that I picked up on that you said before. You said, you were talking and you said, I'm not there yet. And that's something, again, that we've spoken about before, positive mindset. I said to you earlier, didn't I think it's so important to have the vision and the action. So if you've got the action, but you've not got the positive mindset, that's a bit of a struggle. And if you've got the great vision, but you don't take action, that can be a struggle. So important, in my opinion, to have both. So how important is that to you? Do you think that plays a big role in your life and in your motivation to keep that positive mindset going?
Absolutely, and I think I'm definitely not going to sit here and say I've got it figured out, because I haven't, and no one else has. But the positivity, we can talk about, when people talk about, when you talk about The Secret and all of it, we can talk about that all day. But the bottom line is, it is a fact that why would you not want to be positive? You have, it doesn't mean that being positive is going to solve. That's not how it works. But if you're positive all the time, you can have a better outlook on whatever the situation is, whether it's bad or good. And I think my problem was always having that mentality, but like you say, not putting it into practice. You can't be, in my opinion, and it's hard to do, when we're talking about living in the moment. If anyone knows anything about the monk monastery and how monks operate, they're trying to live in the moment as much as they can. Even they struggle. They're doing it 24 hours a day. They dedicate a life to it. So it's not easy, but it's about when you're having a good day, you're positive, but then when you're having a bad day, you can't just flip-flop. You have to have that sort of mentality all the time, rather than just picking and choosing. I think my problem was always, if I was having a good day and things were going well, I missed the positive, and then if little things happen, it's the end of the world, and it's all back to poor me, and that is something that definitely not even got fully now, but it's about growing. And a very important thing that Anne Middleton says is, if you're not growing, or if you see someone after 5 years and they say, you've changed a lot, it's kind of like, well, I hope I have, because if not, I'm doing something very wrong.
Yeah.
I'm, you know, still very young, and I've got a lot to learn. But for me, it's about growing as much as I can, and just keep improving every single day.
Yeah, no, that's so true. I think it's something that a lot of people say, isn't it? It's very easy to be positive when things are going well. It's when things are going bad that it's harder. And I think it's it's definitely a challenge. But I mean, there's so much research out there as well now to show that gratitude, just even writing 3 things before bed every night, you know, it doesn't take long, it takes 2 minutes, writing down 3 things that we're grateful for each night before bed, it literally rewires our brain to make us actually see things more positively and have a more, like you said, a more positive outlook on day-to-day things that happen in our life. So yeah, it's not the easiest to do when you're in a bad place, but if you get into, they say you should make habits when you're in a good place, and it's easier to continue. So yeah, I think that's really powerful. So thank you. Thanks so much for joining us today, Liam. It's been great to have you.
No, an absolute pleasure. Anytime. What an honour. Yeah, no, I had a great time, and really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Good, thank you. And we're going to post a link to Liam's film, so please check it out. It's such a powerful film, and like Liam was saying before, it gives you both angles. I remember when I watched the film for the first time, I definitely cried. It was really powerful. So yeah, give that a watch. Thank you everyone for listening, and we'll speak to you again. We'll see you again soon for another episode of Lisa T Spills the Tea. Bye for now.